Hello guys, today I have Jonas here with me, um, a good known friend, a good known person, and I'm happy to have him here because he has a broad experience in several fields, and he can make just a short introduction to himself, and I will stop talking then. I will give you the ball, Jonas.
Thanks a lot, Maiwand, for the invitation. My background is I studied IT security as undergraduate degree. I continued with cybersecurity in the UK, and afterwards I started as auditor with a friendly hacking scope at Siemens. I worked there for about 4.5 years at Siemens and Siemens Energy because there was some carve out in between. And since roughly 3 years and 11 months, I'm with BSH. It's a 100% subsidiary of Bosch Group. And there I'm product owner, product manager, digital security manager, and sometimes also Scrum Master for a small team that operates the BSH product PKI. It's a PKI infrastructure that is serving trust to home appliances, but also to some backend services all across the world.
All right, thank you for the introduction. Sounds very interesting. And then I will just start with my first question. So, looking on your current position, what are like some of the main duties, like daily tasks, which you have to do, and some of the challenges you're facing in this role?
So it's a lot of managing relationships with vendors, with our like business partners, stakeholders internally, like a bit like customers, even though we are more on the same level, we are collaborating towards common success, and of course with our management that gives us certain targets and also money to reach our goals. And besides that, I'm like coordinating and managing tasks for a team of 6. And we basically operate an infrastructure as secure as possible with the means we have. And
Hmm.
we continuously want to improve it. Right now, like a big topic for us is PQC, post-quantum readiness, because it's just a matter of time. All these huge spendings towards AI data centers, the size like 600 soccer fields, it's just a matter of time that this research improvements will also improve like the pace of like quantum computing, and quantum computing is a real threat for modern cryptography.
Yes, good point. Thank you for the valuable insights. Then, coming a little bit more like to your background also, what you have done in the past. I mean, your profile is quite interesting. Because you started as a penetration tester after university, and then you made the transition to a leadership role, which you're currently in. Looking back on the past, like how did it came to your mind that you would like to make a shift to a totally leadership role? And did you had some kind of like training or preparations to step into this role before, or was it like that it was interesting for you and you made the transition within this new current role you have?
When I studied, it was always very interesting for me to become a hacker. I wanted to be a red team and penetration tester because I wanted to learn how adversaries think. I wanted to emulate what they do in order to better protect systems in the future. And I did it for about 4.5 years. And at the same time, I prepared for the management role I'm having right now. That was by taking responsibility over projects or deliverables like single work streams. And one thing led to another. Like I spent 4.5 years in a leadership development program at Siemens. And this program enabled me to take over my first leadership management position with BSH back in 2022.
Okay, interesting. So you got kind of already like a good preparation over the years to become a leader. So that sounds very interesting. So I think this is like a very good thing also to over the years slowly to learn like how to address this task of a leader. What are your duties? Like, how different are they to working just by your own and to just report to your manager? So, as I understood, you've been already kind of in responsibilities of coordinating tasks and communicating to your stakeholders, kind of a small leadership role already during your pen testing years, right?
Yes, but the best part during my audit time was like, of course, most fun was like finding security vulnerabilities, exploiting security vulnerabilities, presenting entire exploit chains that led to something huge. But we were reporting all these exploit chains towards senior management at Siemens. At the same time, we got feedback, we got pushback, because it was not just about uncovering security vulnerabilities, it was also about improving the organization. So we agreed on management planned actions, measurements that fixed the root cause and to get to the ground, to the root of the problem, we used certain interview techniques, such as asking a lot of why is XYZ like it is, and then like follow-up questions in order to get to the root cause. That helped a lot. And once we had the root cause, we agreed on the measure. We called it MPA, Management Planned Action. And this management planned action item required some follow-up. So there was an audit project, and after the audit project, I sometimes had the responsibility to do these follow-ups. I was talking with like senior leaders, executives, and they always had some budget constraints. And I still had to guide them into the direction of like fixing the issue. And this exchange was very, very valuable for where I am right now.
Yeah, and I see that definitely like this is a really a good experience that you can in the early years already like present your work to senior leaders and try to resolve the issue. And I think it's also like way more like satisfying for you as a penetration tester or as an auditor in this role. Like if you see someone is trying to solve the issue which you're reporting, because what I'm hearing sometimes from some penetration testers that they're like, especially when they're doing consulting, that they're like finding some vulnerabilities, sometimes even some obvious stuff, but no one had the time to fix it. And when they come the next year or the next quarter, like for the next test, and they see again the same stuff which they already reported. So I think this is also a very good experience which you've made in many terms. Coming a little bit more specific to your current area of working, PKI, would you say it's like more like a niche place to work, or would you say if you work in this area, you can still make transitioning to other areas, like there are a lot of synergies, or would you say someone should like really, really made his thoughts before he decides to go into the PKI area because it's difficult then to make a shift towards another role or towards other companies who are not doing that stuff so deeply?
Yes, for sure. Cryptography is in general like very niche. So what we're doing is very specific, very tailored to one specific environment. There are not too many players out there in Germany, Switzerland, or Austria, like the DACH area. So I would say think twice, and it's also about what you're gonna do if you're a PKI engineer. You get familiar with some very, very specific technologies, but these skills are rare. For example, if we have some job opening looking for a new engineer, it's very, very easy to find engineers who know Microsoft environments or did PKI with Microsoft. But if we list our specific requirements, like our exotic vendors, our like software tooling and so on, you barely get any fitting applicants, like truly fitting. Like, of course, nowadays you get a lot of CVs. Everything sounds amazing because it's written by AI. But like, if you dig deeper, it's very, very hard to find the right candidates because experience is just not in the market.
Yeah, I understand. So if someone makes a decision, he also has like to adjust. Like if he manages to come into this area, even when he has not like the specific knowledge for this field, then he has to learn also a lot, I assume. And when he shifts to another role, he has to like adjust with his skills and try to find some synergies for future roles if he's interested to moving onwards to another topics. I understand. Okay. So coming a little bit more away or going a little bit more away from your current profession, looking on your background, also like looking on your learning besides the professional job. I mean, you've been working full time since many years, but if we look on your profile, we see that you have been doing a lot of certifications from big vendors. For example, you're a GSE from Zanz, which requires, I think, 10 certifications, right, from Zanz. So this is a
Correct.
huge commitment. So congrats on that. How did it came to this? Like, would you say it was a very beneficial experience for you? And how did you, or like, what was like the initial trigger for you to go towards this amount of work and to get this GSE?
Beneficial for sure. I would say the trigger was I started to do different certifications, like everything that was hot back in the days, like CISA, SISM, DSSP, CSSP. And then I was like always like feeling very, very happy once I had a new achievement, but I also felt hungry. And it was still like COVID times, so there was not too much going on here in Munich. And I thought, okay, let's uh, let's go for the highest level. So I thought, okay, GSE is like a nice target. And I had no prior sales experience before I enrolled into their program, and I got my GSE in a bit more than a year. So it was a lot of effort because you had to do like the 6 courses. I did all of them on site. Sometimes I was traveling to different cities like Lisbon, Amsterdam, or also here in Germany. I think I did some in London too. Like it was a lot of traveling and a lot of networking, and that was fun. But was intense because you got like a lot of books, a lot of material, a lot of tools you need to master in order to pass the certification. And it was a nice challenge, and I'm still benefiting of the knowledge I gained.
Cool. Like, again, huge congrats on that. I think this is a big commitment. I know people who have done like only 1 or 2 courses and they're like already done with that. They say they need like 1 or 2 years, like a break from this stuff. So, really well done, man. Next point would be like again in the area of certifications because your profile shows us also another area like specifically the area you worked on in the OffSec area. You also have done like a good amount of the OffSec certifications like from offensive security, specifically starting with the famous one like the OSCP and going forward like with the other one. I think these are the 300 courses. How was your experience with that like and how did it came that you decided to do them? Was it like during your work as a penetration tester or have you done it before or what was it like that you started it?
Like the trigger point was before. I was in my master program in Lancaster, and there was a headhunter or recruitment consultant coming to campus, and he was giving some career advice to students. It was back in 2017, and he was basically saying, if you want to have a job guarantee after your studies here, go for the OSCP. So I did some research, penetration testing with Kali Linux sounded interesting, and I give it a try. I previously did the CEH because it was university founded,
Hmm.
and like difference was like day and night. OSCP was a lot of fun. Like you had this like lab environment where you connected via VPN, and there were like real machines, real vulnerabilities. And I spent about 1 month like getting root as many machines as possible. I wrote my lab report because back in the days you got some extra points if you had a lab report prepared, and then I went for the exam. I nailed it in like 7 or 8 hours, so no need to spend full 24 hours there. And in general, like OSCP was like end to end, like the best experience. Afterwards, I was hooked, did like 3 more OffSec certifications, wireless professional, web expert, and OSCE, like certified expert. I would say the wireless professional was like the least good because it was a bit outdated back when I did it, like discussing a lot about WEP, even though you did not see such networks anymore much in the wild. But the web expert and the certified expert were actually also very valuable, especially like the web expert.
Thank you very much. Like a lot of valuable insights, I think, specifically like for the audience or for the people who are like interested in doing these certifications. So thank you for that. And also congrats on that. I mean, you haven't done like only the OSCP, so also the advanced ones. And did you put in more effort for the advanced ones? Like, or was it like that you already have been on such a good level that it was less effort for you if you compared to your first one, like the OSCP?
No, it was less effort because when I did the other certifications, I was already working. And it was like I saw a lot of synergies to what we encountered at work. I did not have to start at scratch. But it was for sure like much more niche and much more advanced. OSCP is broad, and if you enjoy try hack me or hack the box, go for your OSCP. And even if you don't pass the first time, first try harder, continue, and enjoy the journey.
Yeah, this is also the motto read from them, try harder. Cool, okay. Yeah, thank you for the insights on this point. Do you wanted to say something more?
No, I just want to say, like, that's a mindset you learn there. Like, it's a very, very valuable mindset. Like, it helps you in so many areas of life to try harder, to don't give up. And if you have such learning mindset, you can get very, very far in life.
Yeah, no, good that you give your honest opinion on that. And just a short disclaimer: what comes now into my mind is like this has nothing to do with kind of sponsoring from OffSec or anywhere else. Like this format is about honest conversations. So I will also have probably in the future some people who will give maybe negative feedback to OffSec. So just be aware that we are not sponsoring something. It's a honest conversation. I just wanted
No,
to mention that.
yeah, I mean, honestly, my perspective of OffSec changed a bit. At some point, there was like a salesperson reaching out. It was always like this niche underdog organization. At some point, I had like this very, very persistent salesperson trying to sell me courses for the organization. And that was also when I stopped to do more OffSec courses because it completely like changed my customer experience from something very positive, something I enjoyed, and something that's like, hey, could you please stop annoying me?
Yeah, good that you said it as well.
I mean, now it's clear that our
Yeah.
conversation is not OffSec sponsored.
Good. No, okay, thank you. I mean, like a lot of valuable insights, to be honest, like specifically for people like who are interested to do these certifications, either if it's SANS or if it's from OffSec, or people who are just interested in like doing work on the PKI area or on the penetration testing. Um, Coming to my next question, it would be like more towards your background in the early years. Like you already mentioned, like the OSCP was like kind of the trigger for you to go further to penetration testing. So I understand like this was like your door opener to become a pen tester. And would you say like in the DACH region specifically, but also like I mean for other people internationally who are watching this content, would you recommend them like doing the job of a penetration tester, specifically like in an audit environment? I mean, you haven't been like a consultant like many others are, like we're just like pen testing some companies like all over in the market. You had like a very dedicated environment, and you've been doing audits, which is also different. But would you recommend it to the people who are interested? And what would you say? What should they prepare for?
I would recommend red teaming, penetration testing. Like most people I know in the field, sucks over the time because you have this very limited scope. and you cannot freely move as a real attacker would. If you do red teaming, you have a bit more freedom. Freedom in what you do, where you do it, how you reach your objectives. So I would recommend everyone, if you have the opportunity to choose between penetration testing and red teaming, try to get into red teaming directly, but penetration testing could be a stepping stone into the area of red teaming.
No, thank you.
It's fun. It's a very good start for your career because also if you go later into the area of blue team incident response and so on, having this attacker mindset, super important.
Yes.
Also as manager, you understand risk as no one else because you can get into the mindset of the adversary.
Yes, very good point what you mentioned. Like I had the same point said by a colleague of mine who was also or who is also part of this format. He did this transition from penetration testing then to incident response and now working as a SOC analyst with us at the same company. And he said like the same things. And this shows also the audience like that these kind of insights are like very valuable, and you can see that not only one person is saying that, so you can assume that there has to be something true behind it. Cool. Okay. Thank you for this insight. And then coming to my last question, if you look now like on the university students who are maybe graduating this year, next year, or like early professionals, or also like people who are already working in the IT field in general, and they're thinking about a shift towards cybersecurity, what would you recommend them? How should they prepare, like working in any kind of role in the cybersecurity area? I mean, for the roles which you worked on, you can say it in the best, but also in general, what would be like your opinion? How could they prepare themselves in the best way?
And try to reach out to as many companies and opportunities you can. Prioritize networking because right now it's a competitive environment, and try to have a peek, look into as many areas as you can as working student, as intern, as like part-time employee or freelancer, just to see what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Because in your early years, it's completely fine to like switch more often. If you are reaching a senior level, then it looks weird on your CV if you like switch back and forth companies every like 8 months or whatsoever. Then it's expected that you have a longer tenure. But in the beginning, it's completely fine to do something for 3 months, for 6 months, and that allows you to see where you're most happy. Because it's not just about a paycheck. You need to find something you're passionate about. Because only if you find something you're passionate about, um, you will make a good career. You will have fun at work. They will see that you have fun, and like one thing will lead to another thing. If you have a job or a position you don't really enjoy, then you don't perform at your best, and then you cannot expect like a steep career development.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think these last words have been really good. Also, like a good recommendation for the people interested out there. So, as you said, like someone shouldn't be shy to try things out better earlier than later. So, thank you very much for your time, Jonas. I appreciate having you here, and thank you for giving a contribution to this format. And I wish you a great day. And see you then. Yeah.
See you, my friend. It
Bye.
was a pleasure. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.